Judy Garland. Growing up in show business, it had a disastrous effect on her self-esteem. Despite being a star, she was always described as an ugly duckling, which had a huge effect on her self-esteem. She was also prescribed a cocktail of pills to cope with long shooting days. She'd take uppers all day to stay energetic, and then take downers to be able to sleep at night. And this resulted in an addiction that lasted the rest of her life. To play Dorothy, she was given a prosthetic to fix her nose and caps to wear over her teeth. There's also a lot of weird rumors about her treatment on set in this movie. It was said to give her a girlish figure, they bound her chest and then put her in a corset. And she also had a diet of just soup. And I'm pretty sure that because of the prosthetics, most of the cast could only eat soup through a straw. Because of the combination of pills she was on, she would sometimes burst into fits of laughter. In the scene where she meets the lion, she ruins so many takes laughing at Burt Lair's acting that director Victor Fleming slapped her across the face so she'd be serious. In one interview, she said the Munchkins were a bunch of drunks, and there were also rumors that they stuck their hands up her skirt and that she was harassed on set. After The Wizard of Oz, she was typecast in younger roles, which I'm sure also wasn't great for her body image. She was found deceased by her husband on June 22, 1969 at the age of 47. And the cause of death was an unintentional overdose of pills. Despite her struggles, Judy won the hearts of millions and is still a household name today, which is pretty impressive. If you want more stories of dark Hollywood, let me know in the comments and follow for more.
Judy Garland described her mother as wicked.
She would sort of stand in the wings when I was a little girl, and if I didn't feel good, if I was sick to my tummy, she'd say, "You get out and sing, or I'll wrap you around the bedpost and break you off short." So I'd go out and sing.
Judy's determined stage mother was undoubtedly the reason for Judy's career, but she wouldn't let anything get in her way, including Judy's father. After 2 rejections from Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Roger Edens from MGM's music department heard Judy sing and said it was like discovering gold. Just 2 weeks later, she was signing a studio contract. From October 1st, 1935, for the next 7 years, this contract would run Judy's life. She was 13 years old. Radio performances were a big part of Judy's early promotional campaign, so when her father was admitted to the hospital on November 16th for spinal meningitis, the planned performances took priority. Judy sang "Zing Went the Strings of My Heart" on the Shell Chateau Hour while a doctor set up a radio next to her father's bed so he could hear her sing. Here's a clip of that performance.
I say sky seems blue again. What else could I do again but keep repeating through and through? I love you, I still so thrilled. Yes, that I always will. I hope to never depart. Here with your lips to mine, rest the peachy fine. Sing ho, 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 with the strings of mine.
But Judy's father most likely didn't hear the performance as he slipped into a coma and died the following afternoon, coincidentally falling on her mother's birthday. Judy said, "My father's death was the most terrible thing that happened to me in my life." Without her father, Judy's mother was able to pressure her to work harder for longer hours and put her on the pill regimen that would ultimately be her downfall.
Whenever I talk about her, and I should because she was so wicked, but whenever I start to talk about it, she inevitably knocks one earring off, so she's still around, so now, Mother, you behave yourself.
Judy Garland exposed how dark old Hollywood actually was. She explained how she was abused on the set of The Wizard of Oz by the producer. And she explained how she believed her mother traded Smecks for favors on set at MGM. She said her mom used her as a meal ticket and would drag her to all these different auditions and even force her to perform when she didn't feel well. She also explained how her mother is the one that got her hooked on substances, uppers when she needed to perform and downers when she needed to go to bed, because Judy Garland was known to make 10 or more films for MGM in 1 year. Judy Garland also explained during her first pregnancy that MGM thought that they were going to lose millions of dollars because she was pregnant, so MGM, her mother, and the father of the baby took her and forced her to have an abortion. And she explained how right after this, she was thrown right back into work way too early, but she had to continue making all these films. And it's so sad because everything that Judy Garland had to go through and how much Judy Garland actually had to work and how famous she was, she actually died broke. And I'm talking about broke enough to be homeless. But I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip so you guys can hear everything that Judy Garland had to go through while she worked in Hollywood. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Being Judy Garland is quite a chore.
This is a Judy Garland you've never heard before.
I want my money. I want it right now.
A Judy Garland no one has ever heard before. She recorded these tapes to help write an autobiography she'd never finish.
Every son of a who's ever stolen from me had better get it up.
These weren't delusions. She was broke when she recorded this. And not movie star down to my last Rolls Royce broke, homeless broke. No money to buy food broke.
That's why I'm supposed to be a legend, Judy Garland. All right, then read about it. Read the truth, though. And believe me, the way you believed me when I sang all the songs. Well, now I'm talking, and listen to me, for goodness sake.
Gerald Clark discovered this manuscript of a Judy Garland autobiography no one had seen before, buried in an archive at Columbia University. When she made The Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland was paid $500 a week. The only named player paid less, the Cairn Terrier who played Toto. He got $125, and he didn't have to fend off Mr. Mayor. Judy Garland's own words.
He'd say, "This girl is great, and the reason is that she sings from the heart." And with that, he'd always find my left breast with his hand. I often thought I was lucky that I didn't sing with another part of my anatomy.
Gerald Clark learned from a childhood friend that young Judy always suspected her mother traded sex for favors with producers and studio execs. Her mother drove her, sometimes dragged her to every studio in nearby L.A. In a 1967 interview with Barbara Walters, not even this great actress could disguise the anger she still felt toward her mother.
Did you have a stage mother, as we have heard about the stage mothers?
One that wouldn't quit. A mean one. She was very jealous because she had absolutely no talent. She would sort of stand in the wings when I was a little girl, and if I didn't feel good, if I was sick to my tummy, she'd say, "You get out and sing, or I'll wrap you around the bedpost and break you off short." So I'd go out and sing.
The price? She'd work non-stop. Today, a star makes one film a year. In her 10-year career at MGM, Judy made 10 films with co-star Mickey Rooney alone.
Her mother was the one who really got her hooked on drugs at the age of, about 8 or 9. Amphetamines first to get her up, going. And then barbiturates when she was up and going and had to sleep at night to be on stage the next day. Her mother looked upon her, I'm sorry to say, really, as a meal ticket.
When Judy got pregnant, she wanted a baby, but a pregnancy would have cost MGM millions. The studio convinced her husband and, of course, her mom. Though written in the third person, these are Judy Garland's words.
"Where are we going?" "Never mind," said Mother, "you'll see." They drove for about a half hour and pulled up in front of a dreary little establishment outside of town. Her mother took Judy by the hand, led her inside to a shabby little office. In a few minutes, David, her mother, and MGM were satisfied.
On June 10, 1922, Frances Ethel Gumm was born. The youngest of 3 sisters, she was known as Baby. By age 2, she was singing in theaters, nightclubs, and shot her first film, The Big Review, in 1929. Her mother Ethel quickly saw that she was the most talented of the 3 sisters and began to look for ways to sell her talent. Ethel set her sights on a contract with one of the big Hollywood studios. Before Frances turned 10, Ethel began feeding her pep pills and sleeping pills to help keep up a rigorous schedule. While touring in vaudeville, it was suggested that the Gumm sisters needed a new name, and in 1934 they became the Garland sisters. Frances also decided that she needed a new first name and landed on Judy after a popular song at the time. In 1935, after years of no luck in Hollywood, Judy sang a religious Jewish song for Louis B. Mayer and brought him to tears. She signed a contract with MGM for $100 a week. After Judy signed with MGM, she spent the majority of her time taking classes and getting coached at the studio. Her mother continued to be cold and focused on her career. Judy was closer to her father, but he died of spinal meningitis in November of 1935. Judy performed on the radio the night that he died. With his death, Judy lost her main protector and her only loving parent. MGM, Judy was put up against operatic singer Deanna Durbin to fight over the position as the studio's young singing star. A short film called Every Sunday functioned as a comparison of the two girls. Her movie career began to take off after being teamed up with Mickey Rooney as the wholesome girl next door. Unfortunately, screen appearances put more focus on Judy's weight, and MGM put her on a chicken soup diet. They also prescribed a more rigorous pill schedule of pep pills, sleeping pills, and diet pills. At the time, the pills were called a scientific miracle. By 1938, MGM was placing ads for Judy in Variety. They called her the studio's next big star as she became a major presence in films and recording. She was assigned to the role of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz in 1938. The film was a major hit with children, but didn't turn profits until it aired on TV in 1956. Either way, Oz and Babes in Arms, released later that year, turned her into one of MGM's biggest stars. Judy's relationship became more strained with her mother, who remarried on the anniversary of her father's death. As MGM continued to push Judy harder in the 40s, she turned to the pill bottle more and more often. Through the help of her second husband, Vincent Minnelli, she ditched her girl-next-door persona and became a leading lady at the studio. By the late 40s, Judy's anxiety and pill addiction led to a nervous breakdown. After several shoots went poorly, Judy was released from her contract in 1950. She attempted suicide shortly after. After leaving MGM, Judy found success on stage, performing at venues across the world. She had a sold-out run at the London Palladium for 4 weeks in 1951. This led to 19 weeks at the Palace in New York City. After these successful concerts, she produced her own remake of A Star is Born with her husband Sid Luft and Warner Brothers. The film was a success but did not make back its cost and left Judy in a bad financial state. She then had her own TV show called The Judy Garland Show. It only ran for 1 season and had a total of 26 episodes. It also featured some incredible performances. She attempted to return to the stage after this failure and returned to the London Palladium in 1964. She toured Australia after, and audiences reported that she was drunk late and ended concerts early. In 1969, she was found dead in her bathroom from an accidental drug overdose. An estimated 22,000 paid respects at her funeral.
This is how Hollywood ruined this celebrity's life. In 1969, Judy Garland was found dead in her bathroom by her 5th husband. Her cause of death was said to be an accidental overdose. Although she had tried taking her life countless times, there was no indication that her death was intentional. Garland's career was a roller coaster of successes and setbacks, including legal troubles, performance mishaps, and financial mismanagement. She was once described as a child without a childhood. By the time she was a teenager, she had already made 12 films, and by 18, she was under psychiatric treatment. Garland described her life as feeling like she's living in a blizzard. Despite earning millions, her estate amounted to a mere $40,000 at the time of her death, primarily due to years of financial mismanagement and her generosity towards family members.
Why did Judy Garland pass away at the age of 47? After filming The Wizard of Oz, her body underwent 3 alarming changes. After Wicked became a huge hit, Judy Garland, who starred in The Wizard of Oz years ago, was once again discussed. As an idol with many fans, many people mourn her early death. But few people noticed that, during the filming of The Wizard of Oz, her body had already started showing alarming changes. First, during the filming of The Wizard of Oz, Judy was only 16 years old, the time when her body should have been developing, but Judy became increasingly thin. The studio controlled her diet to maintain a good image. They frequently restricted her diet and even gave her drugs to suppress her appetite. Second, due to the immense pressure of filming, Judy often struggled to sleep, which caused frustration among the crew. In order to keep Judy in a certain mental state, they ignored her health, forcing her to take various sedatives. This weakened Judy's body further. Third, before filming The Wizard of Oz, Judy appeared full of energy. However, after filming, she looked much older. The drug dependency and immense mental pressure led her life to an early end. I hope this tragedy will never happen again.
Coming for to carry me. Oh, I come from the south, from way down south, where the corn and potatoes used to grow. There's a great big elegant. Come on, carry me home. Oh, I come, sweet chariot. Listen here, you won't let me speak. Don't you know the Swanee River is dried